Hi, I'm Rick Conlow. I'm glad you're here today. Let's talk about a positive attitude as your greatest resource. Let me ask you a question. Would you take $100,000 for your lungs? How about $250,000 for your brain? How about $1 million for your heart? Well, obviously all that is illegal, and who would be crazy enough to do it? They'd be dead. Those aren't your most valuable resources. As important as those three things are to your body, your attitude is your greatest resource. And that's what we're going to talk about today. You know, a lot has been said about having a positive attitude. But you know what? Life is full of hardships. However, if we reframe that, hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. And I hope to show you how to do that with your attitude in the midst of any crisis, tough times, bad situations or circumstances that you get yourself in, or setbacks or defeats or failures. There is hope. And the hope really is inside you by what you decide to do next. Now let me ask you a question again. What is 1/2 of 8? Go ahead, take your time. No, I'm kidding. Of course, what is the answer? 4, right? Did you get 4? Probably about 98% of people where I ask that question individually or in groups come up with 4. But are there other possibilities? And that's what I'm talking about with a positive attitude related to hardships and tough times. Take a look at this. Notice, another possibility is 16 divided by 4. It gets 4, but it's said a little differently. How about 1 times 4? Or 1 plus 3? Or 2 times 2, or the square root of 16. Those are all 4. And mathematically, there's an infinite number of possibilities. And even in the figure, you can get 0 and 3 and W and E, and there's some there. But notice the figure at the top of that image. You know what that stands for? It stands for infinity. And in situations we get ourselves in, good or bad, there's often infinite possibilities of how that could go. And it all starts with our thinking, because thinking makes it so. So what are some good positive attitudes to have? Well, a proverb says, as a man thinketh, so is he. Or as a woman thinketh, so is she. Our thoughts come before our actions. And what we do in our thinking, and studies say we have about 50,000 thoughts a day. And quite frankly, 80% of them are negative. So we really have to intentionally think about what we're thinking and choose the positive, choose the good, choose the optimistic, choose the possibilities, choose the yes. You see what I'm talking about? We need to be able to do that. And I'm going to give you 2 things to use to help you do that. First one is expect the best in yourself and others. Now, we may not always do the best, but if we train ourselves to that way, in time, we will. Now, you know, Olympic champions like Mary Lou Retton practice 10,000 hours. That's 4 years, 40 hours a week, a full-time job for 4 years to compete in the Olympics with the elite. Now, think about that. If you're constantly going over your talent and your skill and your chosen field about how you want to be, what you want to do, what the end result will look like, and do it time and time again, and that's what they do in the Olympics, then they have a coach or support people to help them do that, and they study it, they review it, look at videos, read books, practice, do the routines over and over again. You'll be like Mary Lou in the 1984 Olympics. Here she was, getting ready to do the horse jump. She had to be perfect in order to win the gold medal. Think about that. 1 billion people worldwide watching this event in LA Stadium. 100,000 people in the stadium. What would most people be thinking? They'd be thinking, oh no, I can't do this. I'm going to fail. There's no way I'm going to trip or something. All that negative noise going on, that 80% negative that I talked to you about before. Instead, because of her training, because of her focus, she has chosen the positive. She had chosen the best time and time again in practice and workouts and other events. Mary Lou was asked after the event by Dr. Dennis Waitley, what was you thinking? And by the way, Mary Lou ran down that runway, hit the horse, threw her arms up in the air just like in the image, and she got a perfect 10 and won the gold. Little known fact, she went back and did it again. Now, as I said, she was asked, what are you thinking? Mary Lou said, here's what I was thinking. I was thinking I have to run hard, tuck, and plant. I've done it before. I'm going to do it now. This one's for you, Mom and Dad. I will get the 10. And then, boom, she took off. See the contrast from my first description and what she was thinking? And by the way, there's lessons there. What do? You have a goal. What do you need to do? She needed 10. You had a plan. Tuck hard, run, plant. And then affirmation. I can do this. I will do this. And then she dedicated it to her parents. It wasn't just about her. It was about her parents or the team or the company or my family. And then she took action. That's how you train yourself to expect the best in yourself and others. Great lesson from Mary Lou. And then there's one from David Stevens. Believe you cannot fail. Now, if you look at this, you can see David Stevens' legs are short. He was born that way. Yet, David Stevens showed up at a Minnesota Twins tryout camp. Once a year, the Twins would do a tryout camp, invite anybody to come. They'd throw, run, hit, and play a little bit of a scrimmage. A 2-day event. You'd ask back for the second day. And by the way, I did that once in my career, made it back the second day, never got signed. But David Stevens showed up that way. He threw, he batted, he hit, he ran. He ran the 60-yard dash on his hands. And the Twins went up to him, one of their representatives, scratching their head. David, they asked, why are you here? You're not going to make the team. And David looked at his watch. He was working as a sportscaster, by the way. He looked at his watch and said, well, I don't have to be to work until 2 o'clock. Why not try out? Wow, what an attitude. He believed he could not fail. Just because he wasn't like everyone else doesn't mean he couldn't compete. He had no disability. He had possibilities. He was going to show up, do something fun, engage other people, do his best, and that was enough. And then he'd go to his other career. Shouldn't we all be like that? Wouldn't that be great if we could do that? We can learn from our failures and not let defeat beat us up. We can think differently, like what is 1/2 of 8, and see other possibilities in the midst of defeat. Wow. And in these hardships, with these two attitudes, expecting the best and believe you cannot fail, you do not quit. To sum it all up, William James, kind of the father of modern self-help psychology, said this: the greatest discovery of our generation is that human beings, by changing their inner attitudes of their minds, can change the outer aspect of their lives. I have this vision that soars on golden wings. I visualize your achievements and your legacy that sings. I do not know all about your awesome goals or your persistent efforts to raise the bar. I only know you can be the best, a superstar. Thanks for coming.